The zipper of the tent ripped open like a gunshot in the dead of night, and Gabriel's silhouette burst through, his breath ragged against the howling wind. "Finn, I can't pretend anymore. It's killing me," he choked out, his voice cracking like thunder over the Yellowstone pines. In that instant, as his hands gripped my shoulders, the world narrowed to the storm outside and the one raging in my chest, forever shattering the fragile wall between best friends and something dangerously more. I never thought a school trip could unravel everything. We were just 17, invincible in that cocky American way. Backpacks slung over shoulders, laughing off the mud and the mosquitoes like it was just another Friday night football huddle. But as the bus rattled into the park that crisp September afternoon, with the Rockies clawing at the sky like jagged promises, I felt it. A pull, invisible and insistent, toward the guy who'd been my shadow since kindergarten. Gabriel Hayes, with his easy grin and those ocean blue eyes that could disarm a grizzly. We'd signed up for the outdoor ed elective on a whim, our small-town Montana high school pushing us toward real-world survival skills. Whatever that meant. Little did I know, survival would mean facing the truth I'd buried deeper than any campfire coal. The group was a motley crew. 30 juniors from Westridge High, chaperoned by Mr. Harlan, our grizzled history teacher who smelled like pipe tobacco and regret, and Ms. Rivera, the bio whiz with a clipboard that might as well have been a cattle prod. We piled out at the trailhead, the air thick with pine sap and the faint rot of autumn leaves. Tents were divvied up boy-girl style for propriety, but when the count came up short, Gabriel and I got stuck sharing. "Brothers before woes," he joked, punching my arm as we hauled our gear to Site 7, a secluded spot by a burbling creek that forked like veins through the underbrush. I laughed it off, but my stomach twisted. Too close, too confined, too much like the dreams I'd wake from sweating. His name on my lips like a forbidden prayer. Setup was a blur of stakes and poles, our fingers brushing accidentally as we wrestled the nylon into shape. Gabriel's laugh echoed off the rocks, that deep, rumbling sound that always made my pulse stutter. He was the golden boy, quarterback on the varsity team, straight-A charmer who'd volunteer at the animal shelter on weekends, sneaking strays into his mom's basement. Me, Finn Whitaker, the quiet artist type, sketching wildflowers in the margins of my notebooks while he dragged me to parties I pretended to hate. We were opposites that fit, yin and yang in flannel and jeans, navigating the hallways of a town where faggot was still slung like loose change. But lately the glances lingered, the hugs after winds turned electric. And now, this tent. A green cocoon barely big enough for 2 sleeping bags zipped together for warmth, as if hypothermia was the only chill we faced. Dinner was communal slop, hot dogs charred over a fire pit that spat embers like accusations. The group huddled in a circle, stories flying about Bigfoot sightings and ghost hitchhikers on Route 89. Gabriel sat cross-legged beside me, our knees knocking under the guise of space. "Remember that time in 6th grade, when we built that fort in your backyard and swore we'd run away to California?" he whispered, his breath warm against my ear. I nodded, forcing a grin, but my mind raced to the unspoken. What if we had? What if the fort was code for escape from the mirrors that lied every morning? Across the fire, Jake Harlan, Mr. H's nephew, a hulking junior with a buzz cut and a mean streak, shot us a look, his eyes narrowing like he'd caught a whiff of something off. Jake was the king of whispers, the one who'd outed Tommy Ruiz last year, turning the locker room into a gauntlet of shoves and slurs. I shifted, the log beneath me suddenly thorns. As the stars punched holes in the ink-black sky, the group thinned, girls giggling into their tents, guys roughhousing until Mr. H barked lights out. Gabriel and I crawled into ours last, the zipper sealing us in with a finality that hummed in my veins. The space was claustrophobic, our shoulders touching on the thin mat, the creak's murmur a lullaby laced with menace. I lay rigid, staring at the tent's sagging roof, the nylon glowing faintly from the dying fire. Gabriel shifted, his sleeping bag rustling like dry leaves. "Finn, you awake?" His voice was soft, stripped of its usual bravado. "Yeah," I murmured, heart slamming against my ribs like a trapped bird. Silence stretched, thick as the fog rolling off the creek. Then, what if? What if we're not who everyone thinks? The words hung, fragile as spider silk. I turned, our faces inches apart in the dimness. His eyes searching mine, pupils dilated like black holes pulling me in. My throat closed. Gab, don't. But he did. His hand found my cheek, rough from rope burns and football pads, thumb tracing my jaw with a tenderness that shattered me. I see you, Finn. All of you. And it scares the hell out of me because, God, I've wanted this. Wanted you. For so long. The confession spilled like rain on parched earth, soaking through every denial I'd built. I froze, then surged forward, our lips crashing in a kiss that tasted of salt and secrets. Tentative at first, then desperate, hands fisting in fabric as the world outside faded to white noise. It was messy, uncharted. Teeth clacking, breaths mingling in gasps, the tent walls pressing in like conspirators. No fireworks, just the raw ache of truth finally voiced. We pulled apart, foreheads pressed, panting. This changes everything? I whispered, terror and elation twisting like vines in my gut. For the better, he vowed, lacing our fingers. We talked then, whispers weaving through the night about stolen glances in chem lab, the jealousy that flared when I'd sketch other boys, the prayers he'd send to a god who seemed deaf to small-town queers. Dawn crept in gray and reluctant, painting the tent in watery light. We emerged bleary-eyed, stealing touches under the breakfast scramble. A brush of knuckles over oatmeal bowls, a shared smirk that felt like armor. But paradise is fleeting in the wild. By midday hike, the group splintered along the geyser trail, steam vents hissing like warnings, boardwalks creaking under boots. Gabriel and I lagged, hands swinging too close, until Jake's voice sliced through. Yo, Hayes! Whitaker, pick up the pace or you two lovebirds gonna miss the show. Laughter rippled, forced and sharp. Gabriel stiffened, dropping my hand like it burned. Shut it, Harlan, he muttered, but the damage bloomed. Eyes on us, whispers slithering like smoke. That afternoon, as we sketched thermal pools, me with charcoal, him with ill-fated watercolors. Tension coiled. Ignore them, I said, but his jaw clenched, that quarterback resolve cracking. It's not that simple, Finn. My dad's already on me about scouts. If this gets out. He trailed off the if a chasm. I wanted to rage. Why hide what felt like salvation? But I swallowed it, sketching his profile instead. The curve of his neck, the shadow under his lashes, beauty in quiet strokes. Evening brought rain, a deluge that turned the sight to mud soup. Tents sagged, the fire drowned to hisses. Huddled inside ours, we played cards by headlamp glow, go fish turning to truth or dare confessions. Worst fear? I asked, dealing. Losing you, he said without hesitation, eyes locking. My chest ached. Mine's the same. The game dissolved into stories. His first crush on the swim team captain in 8th grade. My hidden sketchbook of boys who looked suspiciously like him. Laughter mingled with tears. The rain of veil hiding our vulnerability. But betrayal lurks in the smallest leaks. Around midnight, the zipper rasped. Jake's face looming, reeking of stolen whiskey. Heard you two giggling like schoolgirls. What's the deal, Whitaker? Hayes finally show you his playbook. His sneer curled, eyes gleaming with malice. Gabriel bolted up, shoving him back. Get out, man. This ain't your business. Jake laughed, low and ugly. Oh, it's everybody's business now. Saw you on the trail, handsy much? Dad's gonna love this. He stumbled off, but the poison seeped. I paced the tense confines, panic clawing. What if he tells? Your scholarship, my folks. They'll crucify us. Gabriel pulled me down, arms a fortress. We face it together. Promise. We clung through the storm, his heartbeat sinking mine, a rhythm of defiance. Dawn broke sullen, the group subdued over soggy cereal. Whispers buzzed, Jake's work, no doubt. Mr. H pulled Gabriel aside, murmuring about focus and distractions. I sketched alone by the creek, charcoal smudging tears onto paper. Gabriel returned, face ashen. He cornered me, said he'd tell coach unless I ditched the fairy tale. His voice broke. Finn, I can't lose football. It's my ticket out. The words landed like fists. So what? We were a fairy tale? Betrayal burned, hot and familiar. The sting of being the secret, the afterthought. No. God, no. It's just, He reached, but I recoiled. It's always just a phase, just brothers. I'm tired, Gab. I stormed off, the trail blurring through unshed rage. The afternoon hike was a gauntlet of sidelong stares and stifled snickers, the geysers erupting like accusations I couldn't dodge. Gabriel trailed me, silent pleas in his wake, but I hiked ahead, boots pounding the boardwalk as if I could outrun the fracture. Yellowstone's beauty mocked us. Bubbling pools of azure and ochre, steam curling like ghosts of what we'd lost in one night. By the time we looped back to camp, my sketchbook was forgotten in the tent, pages warped by damp, much like the fragile map of us. Mr. H called a group huddle that evening, the fire pit a reluctant confessor under clearing skies. Folks, this trip's about teamwork, resilience. Rumors, they dissolve like mist. Focus on the stars. His pipe puffed wisdom, but Jake lounged across the flames, smirking like he'd won the Super Bowl. Gabriel sat rigid beside me, our sleeping bags now zipped solo, an ocean of nylon between. I felt his gaze, heavy as the cooling air, but stared at the embers instead. Orange flickers dying to gray, mirroring the hope guttering in my chest. Night fell velvet and vast, the creek's song a dirge. I lay awake, replaying the tense intimacy. His whisper, the press of his palm, the way he'd said my name like a vow. Betrayal wasn't just Jake's poison. It was Gabriel's hesitation, the football jersey outweighing the boy who'd kissed me under canvas stars. Tears pricked, hot and unwelcome. I'd always been the dreamer, the one sketching escapes while he played the hero. What if this was the plot twist? Love as the villain, unmasking us before we were ready. A rustle yanked me alert, the zipper inching open. Gabriel's head poked in, hair wild from wind, eyes shadowed. Can I? He didn't wait, slipping inside like a thief in our own home. Finn, please, talk to me. His voice was gravel, stripped bare. I sat up, arms crossed like shields. What's left to say? You're choosing the game over us. He winced, kneeling on my mat. It's not that black and white. You know my dad, ex-Marine, all about man up. The scouts here, poof, dreams gone. And you? Your mom's already side-eyeing those artsy friends. We're kids in a town that chews up different. Different. The word cracked me open. I'm gay, Gab. Have been since I realized your smile made my knees weak in freshman bio. Hiding it? It's suffocating. I gestured wildly, knocking the headlamp. Its beam danced shadows on the walls, grotesque puppets of our fight. He caught my wrist, gentle but firm. I know, and I'm figuring it out too. That kiss? It wasn't practice. It was me seeing you really seeing. But Jake's circling like a shark. He cornered me again after huddle. Said he'd post pics from the trail online, tag everyone. Ferry Finn and his quarterback crush. Rage surged, white hot. Let him. We'll burn brighter. But fear undercut it. What if the town turned? My parents, devout Baptists with Bibles dog-eared at Leviticus. The grill master patriarch preaching bootstraps and bravado. Westridge wasn't San Francisco. It was cornfields and church suppers, where rainbows were just storm warnings. Gabriel's grip tightened, pulling me closer until our knees touched. I don't want to lose you to this. To them. His free hand cupped my neck, thumb stroking the pulse point that betrayed my resolve. Tell me how to fight this. For us. The vulnerability undid me. His eyes, stormy seas begging anchor. I leaned in, forehead to his, breaths sinking in the tense hush. Start by believing we're worth it. No chaps, no oats. We sat like that, entangled in whispers, mapping contingencies like allies plotting a heist. Call Jake's bluff? Confess to Mr. H, the rumored ally with a rainbow pin on his lanyard? Or ride the storm, emerge stronger on the bus ride home? Sleep claimed us tangled, boundaries blurred again. Not in passion, but in the quiet solidarity of shared fear. Dawn painted the tent gold, the group stirring to birdsong and bacon sizzle. Over breakfast, Jake's bravado faltered under Mr. H's watchful eye, his threats reduced to mutters. Gabriel and I moved in sync, passing syrup, our fingers lingering a beat too long, a silent pact sealed. A climax brews in the calm. Mid-morning free time, we volunteered for the ranger talk on wildlife corridors, bison migrations mirroring our own urge to roam free. The amphitheater was rustic logs under lodgepole shade. The ranger's voice droning facts as Gabriel's hand found mine behind the bench. Hidden but electric. Jake slouched, rose back, phone glinting. Recording? My stomach nodded. After, as we dispersed to the river for fly fishing demos, thunder grumbled distant warnings. Stick close, Gabriel murmured. But Jake intercepted, blocking our path with two meathead cronies. Time's up, lovebirds. Is you switching teams? Or just slumming with the sketch queer? The slur landed like a slap, echoing off the pines. Heads turned, Ms. Rivera pausing mid-notebook scribble. Gabriel stepped forward, chest puffed in that quarterback stance. Back off, Jake. Your jealousy's showing. Can't handle not being center stage. Jake's laugh was bark without bite, but his push came swift, shoving Gabriel hard enough to stumble me into the mix. Fists flew, mine grazing Jake's jaw in a wild swing born of months of swallowed barbs. Gabriel tackling him to the dirt in a tangle of limbs and curses. Enough, Mr. H bellowed, wading in with chaperone arms like bear traps. The scuffle broke, faces bloodied. Jake's lips split, my knuckles raw, Gabriel's cheek blooming purple. Chaperones hauled us to the admin tent, a canvas tribunal under fluorescent hum. Ms. Rivera mediated, her voice steel wrapped in calm. Words first, boys. What's this about? Jake spat half-truths. They started it, getting all touchy-feely. But Gabriel, bruised and unbowed, laid it bare. It's about hate, Mizar. Jake's been bullying Finn since day one, slinging crap because we're gay. Together. The admission hung, seismic. Mr. H's pipe paused mid-puff, eyes softening behind wire rims. Jake blustered denials, but the evidence mounted. Phones confiscated. Texts unearthed like buried mines. Jake's group chat, vitriol archived in pixels. This ends here, Mr. H declared, voice gravel with finality. Jake, you're on the bus home solo, suspension pending. And boys, he turned to us, the rainbow pin catching light. You're safe. With us, at least. Relief crashed, but so did the aftershocks. As the group buzzed with hushed awe, Gabriel and I sat on a felled log by the river, ice packs pressed to swelling. You said it? I whispered, awe-threading fear. Out loud. Had to, he replied, wincing a smile. For you. For us. His hand found mine, open now, no hiding. The river rushed on, indifferent witness, as we leaned shoulder to shoulder, the weight lifting like fog under sun. Yet betrayal's echo lingered. That night, as stars wheeled overhead and the group sang Esmore-side folk tunes, Woody Guthrie anthems of dusty roads and dreamers, Jake's absence loomed like a ghost. Rumors swirled. His dad storming the park office, demanding justice for his all-American boy. Gabriel's phone buzzed once, twice. Texts from coach. Heard about the fight. Scouts watching. Keep your head down. The unspoken threat. One more slip and the offers vanish. I saw it fracture him, the boy who'd tackled linebackers now cowering before invisible lines. What if it's not enough? He confessed later, in the tense sanctuary, rain pattering renewal. What if they take it all? Then we build new, I said, fierce as the storm. Art scholarships, city gigs. Hell, we run like those bison. Find herds that don't stampede us down. He laughed, watery, pulling me into a hug that mended cracks. We talked dreams then. A loft in Portland, me illustrating graphic novels of queer cowboys, him coaching under lights that didn't judge. Vulnerability wove us tighter, emotions raw as exposed roots. But the real storm hit at extraction. Bus idling under sodium lamps, parents' cars lining the lot like sentinels. Jake's father loomed, red-faced, cornering Mr. H with lawyer talk bluster. Our folks arrived in tandem. Mine, Mom's Bible tucked under arm like talisman, Dad's trucker cap low. His, the elder haze in starched khakis, grip firm on Gabriel's shoulder. The air crackled, explanations tumbling, Jake's version seeding doubt. In the chaos, betrayal struck deepest. Gabriel's dad, voice low thunder. Son, whatever this phase is, it stops. Now, or no more field. Gabriel paled, glancing my way. Apology in his eyes, but compliance in his nod. My heart plummeted. He chose silence, boarding their SUV without a backward glance, leaving me adrift in the gravel lot, Mom's hand tentative on my arm. The drive home was autopsy. Her questions gentle probes. Friendship rough spots, honey? Me deflecting with half-lies, sketching maps in my mind of escapes unrealized. Westridge greeted like a trap. School halls echoing with Jake's allies' glares. Whispers amplified. Gabriel avoided, locker glances skipped. Lunch tables apart. Texts went unread, then blocked. Betrayal calcified. The tense promise, eroded by paternal edict. Weeks blurred to numb routine. Art club solace, where Ms. Rivera slipped resources, PFLAG flyers, helplines like lifelines. I poured pain into canvas. Yellowstone storms in oil, two figures blurred at the edge, reaching but not touching. Climax crested in the locker room post-PE. Jake's crew circling. Ferry's crying for his boyfriend again. Fists clenched, but Gabriel appeared. Not as savior, but witness. Freezing at the door, then turning away. That night, I biked to his house, gravel crunching resolve. His window glowed, curtain twitching. I hurled pebbles, cliché, desperate, until his face appeared, haggard. Finn, go. Please. Why? I shouted, voice cracking over the fence. Because Daddy said? We were real, Gab. That night. It was. He hissed, glancing back. But this town's a vice. Scouts called. Full ride to state if I clean up. And you, I can't drag you down. Drag me? You saved me. Tears streamed, hot accusations. This is the drag, hiding, hurting. Choose, Gabriel. Us or the lie. Silence stretched eternal, his silhouette shrinking. Then a whisper, I choose you. He vaulted the sill, racing down in sock feet, pulling me into the shadows of the oak. We clung, sobs mingling, the kiss salt and rebirth. No tent, no storm, just starlight on stolen breaths. Dawn found us conspirators in his basement, blueprints sketched on pizza boxes. Dropout timelines, bus tickets to Seattle where cousins waited with open couches. His mom's shelter dogs nosed our hands, unwitting allies in the quiet hours before Exodus. Gabriel's resolve hardened. Letters drafted to coaches, truths emailed to scouts. I'm gay. Deal with it or don't. My parents, cornered over breakfast confessions, fractured then mended. Mom's tears to hugs, dad's grunts to proud of you. Kid, now past the eggs. Betrayal's scar tissue stretched but held as we plotted. Jake's reckoning came swift, school board hearing. His slurs transcribed, expulsion looming like justice's slow hammer. He cornered me once in the parking lot, face twisted. You ruined him, Whitaker. But his punch pulled, eyes haunted, perhaps glimpsing his own chains. The climax unfolded not in fists, but farewells. Westridge High's autumn formal, a glittering farce under gym balloons. Gabriel and I crashed it uninvited, ties askew, hands linked like declarations. The dance floor parted, stairs like spotlights, but we swayed to Springsteen. Thunder Road, anthemic escape crooned over speakers. Jake lurked at punch bowls, but Mr. H's arm barred him. A sentinel gnawed our way. Under bleachers, breaths quickened. Not in haste, but in the poetry of almost. Whispers of futures, fingers tracing collarbones like braille promises. This is us, Gabriel murmured, eyes alight. No more shadows. The song swelled, and we emerged, pulling the crowd into a clumsy conga. Queer kids, allies, even skeptics shuffling solidarity. Laughter erupted, walls crumbling in confetti rain. But humanism tempers triumph. Not all mended clean. Gabriel's dad, pride warring with love, offered gruff silences over dinners. Progress in pauses. My folks attended PFLAG, Bibles beside rainbow flags, faith reforged in questions. Jake, rumors of therapy. A forced apology scrawled in hallway passing. Bitter, but a seed. Winter broke with our departure. Greyhound to the coast, backpacks stuffed with sketchpads and cleats, dreams portable as hope. Seattle's drizzle welcomed like baptism. First apartment a shoebox walk-up, views of ferries slicing Puget Sound. Gabriel landed assistant coaching at a rec league, kids with scrappy grins teaching him Joy Sands scoreboard. I waitress nights, Days lost in studio light. Galleries nibbling at my Yellowstone series. Queer odysseys in paint. Nights, we cook spaghetti in dented pots. Arguments flaring over dish duty, then dissolving to laughter on threadbare rugs. Love deepened humanistic. Not fireworks, but hearth. Supporting his panic before queer youth panels. Me venting canvas blocks into his arms. Betrayal's ghost visits in quiet doubts. What if we'd stayed hidden? But we counter with truths. The tense echo, a foundation unshakable. One spring eve, as cherry blossoms stormed the streets like pink rebellions, we hiked Discovery Park. Trails echoing Yellowstone's wild call. At the bluff, overlooking Olympic's teeth, Gabriel knelt. Ring improvised from driftwood twist. Finn Whitaker, you changed everything that night. Marry me? Let's keep changing the world. Tears blurred the vista. My yes a vow etched in salt wind. We stood, hands joined, the Pacific crashing below. A symphony of vast possibility. Back home, we framed that driftwood on the wall, beside my sketch of the tent. Two silhouettes, no longer blurred, stepping into light. Years weave onward. His book on inclusive sports, my graphic novel, Tent Shadows, a bestseller in indie presses, tales of boys finding voice in wilderness. We return to Montana summers, parents softer with time. His dad grilling with tentative jokes, mine hosting barbecues where rainbows fly casual. Jake, a Facebook ghost, posting family pics from Boise, a quiet life sans spotlight. Forgiveness not forgotten, but released like creek water. In the end, the night that changed everything wasn't the hook of revelation, but the slow unraveling toward grace. Love, dramatic and genuine, isn't conquest. It's endurance, the humanistic art of choosing each other amid storms. And in America's vast quilt, from pine-scented parks to fog-kissed coasts, we stitch our square, threads of betrayal rewoven to resilience, a tapestry where boys like us don't just survive, we soar.